Before I was even born, my mom and grandma escaped Lebanon and moved to North America with absolutely nothing. We were so poor that at 15, I remember sitting around the dinner table, clipping coupons together just to afford groceries. But in the last 6 years, I've been lucky enough to make over $6 million. I bought my dream home at 20 years old. I own 3 investment properties, and I've completely retired my mom and grandma. I wanted to make this video to prove to young women that it's 100% possible to build a life-changing income online, even if right now you're broke, scared, and think it's not possible. But instead of just giving you my highlight reel, I'm going to share the messy parts, the failures, and the moments I wanted to give up to give you a realistic idea of what it will take to actually build a successful online business. So let's start right at the beginning, how I went from $0 to $5,000. So I grew up in a small town, and even though my mom and grandma worked really hard, we never had any money. In fact, there's one night I will never forget. I was 14 doing homework at the kitchen table when my mom came home from her second job, but instead of eating dinner with us like she normally would, she went straight to the bathroom to have a shower. She didn't think we could hear her under the noise of the water, but I could hear her sobbing. Even though I was just a kid, it completely broke my heart. My mom and grandma were working so hard so that I could grow up in a decent neighborhood and get a good education. I never spoke about that night with her, but I made a decision in that moment that has shaped my entire life. I promised myself that I would get so rich that I would retire them both. So at just 15, I got a job at Tim Hortons, working over 20 hours a week while going to school. While other girls my age were focused on boys and shopping, I was making coffee and waiting tables. It was honestly exhausting, but I was determined, and within my first year, I saved $5,000, which felt like a fortune to me. And when I think about it, this was the exact moment I learned one of the most important business lessons of my journey, which is that to win in business, you need a big enough why. There have been so many times I've wanted to give up, like when I lost my life savings on a failed business, or when I felt so alone it hurt, like no one literally believed in me, which I'll share about soon. But it's my why that's kept me going. I was just so tired of clipping coupons and seeing my family struggle, and I was willing to do anything to escape. But now let's move on to what helped me go from $5,000 to $60,000. So even though I was working super hard, nothing had changed at home. We were still struggling financially, and there didn't seem to be any way out. So at 16, I realized that if I wanted to get rich, I couldn't work a normal job forever. I needed to start some sort of business, but there was just one problem. I was a 16-year-old girl who knew absolutely nothing about marketing or selling things online. I'd been watching people like Graham Stephan and other YouTubers, and I thought, these guys have experience in real estate and businesses. I'm just a teenage girl who lives with my mom. Girls like me don't really become entrepreneurs, especially at 16. But I'd stumbled upon dropshipping, and the YouTube gurus made it sound easy. All I had to do was find a product, build a website, and I'd be rich. So I literally invested all my money into a few courses and started running Facebook ads. It probably sounds crazy, but I genuinely believed that this was the thing that would make my family rich. But within 2 months, I lost everything. I launched my website, ran ads, and got literally 0 sales. I was completely devastated. I remember lying in my bed with my stomach filled with guilt, like I just gambled my entire life savings away, because honestly, I practically had. Every single doubt about being a 16-year-old girl who knew nothing about business was confirmed. This was by far my lowest point, and I was totally ready to give up, but then I thought about my grandma. So my grandma is 87 years old, and she is so amazing. She raised her kids alone in a small village in Lebanon after losing her husband in her 40s. No money, no education, no support system, just her and her faith. She used to literally carry buckets of water from the well, cook over the fire, and still managed to raise her strong, healthy children. And she once said something to me that always stuck with me. We come from women who survived war, loss, and hunger. We are survivors, and we will always find a way. So as much as I wanted to quit, I kept pushing. And then after 6 months of saving up again, I tried dropshipping one more time. But instead of blindly following guru advice, I actually learned real skills. I studied things like copywriting, marketing, psychology, and how to test products properly. And I ended up finding a product that I scaled to $60,000 in profit, which at the time was completely life-changing. And it was here that I learned my next important lesson I want to share with you. Your first business probably won't succeed, and that's okay. This doesn't mean you're not smart enough or that you should give up on your dreams. It means you're human. Most people expect to get rich in 6 months and quit when it doesn't happen. That's why they never actually succeed. But if you think 3 to 5 years ahead and stay consistent, you'll be amazed at how quickly you attract success. In fact, it's when I stopped looking for quick wins and started playing the long game, that's when I really started to make money. Which leads me to the next stage of my journey, how I went from $100,000 to $1 million. This is where we get into some of the practical business stuff, which will be super valuable if you're a beginner. So once I adopted this long-term mindset, I realized dropshipping wasn't sustainable. It's more a get-rich-quick method, so I ended up closing my stores and went looking for new opportunities. And in the meantime, I had invested my $60,000, went back to working a job, and ended up having about $100,000 by the time I was 18. And it's right here when I noticed TikTok exploding. This was back in 2020 when the platform was still relatively new, and I saw something that surprised me. There were almost no girls my age talking about money, investing, or business. The finance space was dominated by young guys doing the whole alpha male grind set thing. But there was just one problem. In my culture, Arab women aren't supposed to be loud about money or independence. We're taught to stay humble and not draw attention to ourselves. The money conversations were supposed to be left to the men. So I kept questioning myself, who am I to talk about money when I'm so young? I've only had one small success. Was it all just luck anyway? And what would my family think about me being so public about my finances? So even though I was super nervous, I decided to post my first video. I talked about investing basics, shared my story, and tried to make finance feel accessible. And within just a few videos, my account took off. I was getting thousands of views, sometimes even millions. But what really got to me were the comments. Young people, especially women, were saying, "Thank you for making this feel possible. I started investing because of you." But here's the thing, even though my content was getting views, I was struggling to turn that into real income. I kind of hit a wall where I was posting constantly, getting pretty decent views, but I had no idea how to monetize. So after a few months of struggling by myself, I decided to finally invest in a mentor. I found someone I really trusted and who had already built a massive following online, and I ended up paying a few $1,000s to learn from them. They taught me things like how to create viral content, how to get sponsorship deals, how to start affiliate marketing, and how to expand to new platforms. And it was this exact moment that my life completely changed. Not only did my content explode, but I was making around $50,000 per month at just 19 years old. Just by following their advice, I literally could not believe it. Which leads me to the next few lessons I want to share with you. Number one is don't pick complicated businesses like dropshipping. Yes, it can work, and I'm not saying it's a scam, but it's definitely not the business I recommend starting. You want something simple that doesn't have a million moving parts, and I'll share my favorite in a minute. Number two is once you find the business you want to start, find a mentor who has already achieved your goals. They are going to be able to speed up your journey and help you actually get results. I'm 100% certain if I hadn't found my mentor at the start of my journey, it would have taken me years longer to get to where I am today. Okay, so now let's get into the final stage of my journey. This is when I really streamlined my businesses and went from making $1 million to $5 million. And it was also where I discovered what I believe to be the most powerful business model for beginners in 2025. So at 19, I had built a decent following and was making good money online. But here's what no one tells you. I was constantly stressed. I was spending so much time reaching out to new sponsors, finding affiliate deals, and creating content that I had no time freedom. I also felt like I wasn't building a real business because I was promoting other people's products and that at any moment my income could collapse. And that's when I realized something. I took a step back and I actually analyzed what was working. I had been so focused on chasing new sponsorships and affiliate deals that I hadn't paid any attention to the fact that I was making $20,000 per month from my digital products while only working 4 hours per day. So it made sense to spend most of my time focusing on them. And after going all in, they quickly became my biggest income stream. I've now made over $3.5 million in just 4 years. That's $875,000 per year from digital products alone. But I know what you're thinking. That's easy for you to say because you already have a huge following. And yes, it definitely helps, but the truth is you don't need a large following to make money with digital products. You see, why I think this is the best business for beginners to start in 2025, it is because I started noticing that even people with teeny followings are making serious money. They aren't gurus with massive followings, they're everyday people like you and me. Take Aziz, he has only 142 YouTube subscribers. All he does is help people land their dream job in 60 days. He charges $9.99 per year for his course, and with just 34 students, he's making $2,800 per month. That's over $33,000 per year, helping people get jobs. Or Travis, he has only 872 subscribers. He teaches Spanish and charges $500 per year, and he has 64 members. So he's making $32,000 annually teaching a language he had learned as a hobby. So these people aren't special. They don't have massive audiences. They're not world famous experts. They just know how to solve one specific problem better than the people buying from them. Because that's the secret. You just need to be a few steps ahead of the people you're teaching. In fact, a lot of beginners prefer learning from someone just a few steps ahead because they remember what it was like to struggle. You speak their language, you understand their frustrations. But there is just one big problem. Even though this sounds like a great opportunity, my guess is you're probably thinking things like, but I don't know how to build an audience, I don't know how to create a digital product, or I don't know how to turn followers into customers. That's why over the last few months, I poured hours of my time, knowledge, and expertise to introduce you to the content creation mentorship. But this isn't just another PDF course, it's a complete system designed to take any beginner from $0 to $10,000 per month with digital products, even if they have no experience. And digital products are just one part. I also teach affiliate marketing, brand deals, YouTube, and faceless monetization, so you can start earning no matter where you're starting from. In fact, meet Nick. He's not a guru. He didn't have a massive social media following, but after going through my course, he was able to make over $25,000 in just 90 days. Or then there's my other student, Anthony. When he joined the program, he was struggling to pay his bills, but now he is consistently making $5,000 a month, working just a few hours per day. These guys aren't special. They just had access to the exact strategies I've used to make over $6.4 million in profit in the last 6 years. Things like the 3-step niche discovery system, where I show you how to find profitable topics people are desperate to pay for, even if you think you have nothing special to teach. The digital product empire blueprint, where I teach you how to actually create products, what to charge for them, and how to market them to your audience. The content growth system, this is where I'll show you exactly how to build an audience and create content that attracts the right viewers and turns them into customers. Now, I know I'm biased, but I honestly believe this is the fastest path to $10,000 per month, because not only will you get everything I just covered, but you also have a team of me and a 7-figure coach guiding you through every step of the way, keeping you accountable and making you on track to hit your $10,000 month goal. But as much as I'd love you to join, I totally understand if you're not ready. The most important thing I want you to take away from this video is that it's possible for you to build a life-changing income even right now if it feels a million miles away. I mean, if you told me 6 years ago that I'd be able to travel anywhere in the world, build my dream home, and fully retire my mom and grandma, I honestly would have said you're crazy. But here I am, and honestly, it still does not feel real sometimes. Like, I literally designed and built my dream home with no mortgage. Just last month, my mom, grandma, and I spent a weekend at a 5-star resort not far away from home. We had spa days, room service, and just relaxing and doing absolutely nothing. It was one of those moments where I was like, wow, like, we really made it. And every month, money just shows up in my account from my rental properties while I sleep. I literally have to pinch myself sometimes. So if this little shy Arab girl can overcome all the challenges I shared, stay consistent through the tough times, and build a successful online business, then I truly believe it's 100% possible for you too.